President Trump has not punished senior Saudi leaders. Would you?
Yes, and I said it at the time. Khashoggi was in fact murdered and dismembered, and I believe in the order of the Crown Prince.
The White House announcing this morning President Biden will make his first trip to the Middle East since taking office. The president will visit Israel, the West Bank, and Saudi Arabia next month. This trip comes at a time of soaring oil prices because of the war in Ukraine and flaring tensions also there in the region.
Well, President Joe Biden is off to visit Saudi Arabia. If the reports are to be believed, he'll be there mid-July. The meeting marks a major step back from Biden's campaign promise to turn Saudi Arabia into a pariah state due to the illegal war in Yemen, human rights abuses in the kingdom, as well as the assassination of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Well, Biden is reportedly going to Saudi Arabia in order to persuade the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to help the US coalition with its economic war against Russia.
Putin has the gall to say he's denazifying Ukraine. It's a lie. It's just cynical. He knows that. And it's also obscene. President Zelensky was democratically elected. He's Jewish. His father's family was wiped out in the Nazi Holocaust. And Putin has the audacity, like all our autocrats before him, to believe that might will make right.
Biden will try to persuade the Saudis to reduce oil prices and pump more oil because the Russians are making a hell of a lot of money out of oil at the moment, and the US along with NATO allies aren't happy with Vladimir Putin's special operations in Ukraine. More oil money the Russians make, the longer they fight out there.
It is Vladimir Putin who is to blame, period. A dictator bent on rebuilding an empire.
Biden calls Putin a dictator, refers to Putin as someone who doesn't value human rights. So to punish Vladimir Putin for war crimes and attack on freedom and democracy, Biden will visit another tyrannical war criminal, Mohammed bin Salman, who doesn't know what human rights means and has been the mastermind behind the Yemeni war, which has resulted in millions of deaths and countless of starving kids. You see the hypocrisy of the Americans here, folks. We are told that Biden is only doing this to punish Putin more effectively for his horrific war crimes in Ukraine, a war that threatens freedom and democracy throughout the Western world. My dear friends, American imperialism simply has no morals. Despite the astonishing waves of propaganda and blatant misinformation that the United States government is bombarding us with to portray the war in Ukraine as a struggle between good and evil, freedom against tyranny, democracy against dictatorship, the truth is the United States is waging a proxy war in Ukraine for exactly the same reason it continues to maintain close ties with Saudi Arabia, because it brings benefits. That's it. That's the whole story. The United States doesn't care about the freedom of Ukraine or the lives of Ukrainians. They want to strengthen their Eurasian geostrategic hegemony and willing to burn every Ukrainian alive if necessary to achieve their goal. Saudi Arabia is just an exposed version of the United States, an open tyranny that's not hidden under the inverted mask of the American oligarch and the official US government. The Saudis never pretend that their wars are humanitarian in nature. When they want to get rid of someone, let's say a journalist, they do their job instead of hypocritically presenting the crime as a spy case. If you look at Saudi Arabia's general behavior on the world stage, the United States is much more criminal, much more cruel than Saudi Arabia itself. Anyway, the American empire is definitely on its way out. Saudi Arabia, like other Arab countries, adhere to neutrality in the Ukrainian crisis and won't dare to join the anti-Russian sanctions because it pays great dividends by maneuvering between Russia and the West. At the same time, Saudi Arabia does not demonstrate any intentions to change anything in the OPEC Plus deal with Russia. And why should they? It's a done deal between the Saudis and the Russians, and the recent Russian Gulf Cooperation Council meeting clearly tells us this. The Saudis aren't cutting ties with Russia anytime soon.
You obey, you will be safe. If you obey, you will be safe. Alter your course immediately. Over.
Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty.